Hey, I'm Jamie, and welcome to Deadbeat Studios for another episode of Killer Tone. And today, we're going to be checking out the AG700. Now, there's actually two amps in here. The tone hammer, honestly, I haven't opened it up yet, so I don't know which tone hammer's in there. There's also an AG700. That's the one that we're doing today. And essentially, what I'm going to do in this video is unbox it. We're going to plug in this Spector bass right here. This is an NS Pulse 2. Thank you very much to Zounds for sending this over. Spector and Aguilar is a wonderful combination, as I'm sure you'll find out. And that's all this is going to be, just a very loose hang. I'm going to spend about an hour, maybe 90 minutes, like I said, unboxing it, plugging in the Spector. Let's just see what all the knobs do, what kind of tones we can get out of it. And then I'll play a bunch of songs through it. We'll use several different instruments, 4 strings, 5 strings, active, passive. I'll play as many styles as I can through it. Again, kind of like whatever the instrument does best. I'm going to search for the tones that I like making the most. And then I'll play some music through it. We'll hear it isolated, dry on its own. Then I'll also pull in a backing track, and we're also going to mic up the cabinet so we can get the full effect of what this amp is doing. As you can tell, this video is totally unscripted, unedited. I'm just rolling with it. So please forgive me if I say wrong things. You'll hear a lot of mistakes. You're going to catch all of my flubs. And that's kind of the point, is you come with me and we're going to explore the AG700 and see what it sounds like. I keep looking at the wrong camera, and that's how you know this shit is live. Hey, let's open it up. Okay, so I already unboxed the big box in the last video I did, which was the Tone Hammer 500. And I chose to do that one first because I was already familiar with it. I've played the AG700 before 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I just don't have as much experience. So I figured, that was a better video to start with. And like I said, they came in the same box. That's why I'm getting to this one now, but I'm going to get my machete. Hold on, because why wouldn't you do this with a machete? And like I said, I'm going to be doing a head-to-head video where I put these two amps against each other because they're almost the same weight. Seems like they've got a lot of the same controls. So is there a sonic difference besides one's got a 3-band EQ, one's got 4? Okay. We've got a power cable. I don't know if you already watched the Tone Hammer video, so if some of this was repeated, forgive me. There's a power cable included. I'm not going to use it because I've already got, the speak-on cable and the power cable plugged in here to save us time. So I'm just going to throw that out for a second. Also, in the last video, I learned that there's some software. I totally forgot about this. So Aguilar sent me an email like 5 days ago and asked me to do this. And then also said, hey, there's some software where you can tap in with a USB cable. And they were going to get me a beta for it because I'm pretty sure it's not public yet. Either way, they didn't. And like I said, I've got to do this video now. So we might come back and visit the software side of things. I also don't like to read the user manual if I don't have to. Not because I think it's dumb or anything, but when I do these types of unboxing videos and, just like flying off the cuff like this, what I'm trying to do is see how intuitive it is. And like I said, if you heard me say this already, my apologies, but I'm trying to see, is this the kind of thing where, let's say you're at a gig, right? And your amp dies and I'm in the band before you. And I'm like, hey, you can use my amp. And you go, sweet. How easy is it to use? Right? Can you dial it in quickly? How long does it take you before you're like, okay, cool, I'm ready to play the set now? And so if there's anything I don't know how to do or it doesn't make sense, I'll crack into the manual and I'll see what it says. But I really do want to experiment and see if I can figure it out on my own because, I want to know how intuitive and how, I guess, user-friendly it is. Going off of, number one, weight. Gosh, this thing is so light, just like the Tone Hammer. And on the back, yep, just like the Tone Hammer, they've got 2 DIs, and that's pretty sick. We've got cabinet simulation. We've got 3 different ones loaded on there, I bet, but you can tap in with a USB and get more. We've also got send return, effects sender return, headphones, an auxiliary input. Pretty sick features, man. They thought of everything. And then on the front side, what are we looking at? A 4-band, or sorry, yeah, 4-band EQ. The Tone Hammer had a sweepable mid with a 3-band EQ. So that's one difference right off the bat, is this one's got 4. And I know we're going to do a proper AG700 versus Tone Hammer video, but I don't know. Like I said, I can't help myself. Gain, 4-band EQ, volume. This one has a deep switch. I'm on the wrong screen. This one has a deep switch and also a bright switch. So, you know, kind of Ampeg-ish, I guess. You know, just to get you in the ballpark of a real quick tone. We'll see how that sounds. Then a ground lift and a mute and a pad for, you know, active instruments. Let me plug it in. Let's make sure we've got volume. I'll start with the power. Hold on. Power cable first, then we'll get the speaker. Let me make sure it's not on. Good. I don't think there's tubes in here anyways. And we won't use the top loading or the rear DI. We'll go through the front like we did last time. Because on the back it does say DI2. Let's just use DI1. And that's what it looks like. Can we power it up? Yeah, there we go. That's on standby. Now we're operating. I'm just going to plug in a cable really quick. Let's make sure that we're getting volume. And I'll just tap it with my finger like this. There we go. We're in business. I hit the wrong button. Sweet. Let me plug in a bass. See what it sounds like. All right, okay, so we got this Spector bass plugged in. Again, this is the NS Pulse 2. If you didn't see already, I think I've mentioned it already. I did a video on the Aguilar Tone Hammer 500, the new one that just came out. I think that came out a few days ago. So this head is very, very similar. It's got some of the same features like the cab sim on the back, the dual XLR, but obviously the big difference here is 4-band EQ instead of 3 with a sweepable mid, the deep switch, the bright switch, and then obviously it lacks an overdrive. You can hear the fan is on, so it's a noisy one, just like the Tone Hammer. Basically what I did last time, I'm going to do the same thing now. I'm going to turn off this microphone and just dive into this amp. Is this a good? Yeah, this is the one I want. You're going to see me twist the knobs here, and literally I just want to see what it can do. It's a different engine than the other one. And this one I don't have experience with. Oh, and also I've been saying, I just realized I've been saying it's the AG700. This is not. Look, it's the AG500. That's not a 7, that's a 5. So, like I was saying, that's how you know this is live and uncut and unfiltered, because I'm rolling with it, baby. Here we go. Let's turn this microphone off and see what this thing can do. Also, just a reminder, we are only hearing the DI. We're not miking up the cabinet just yet, but we're going to, I promise. Mic off. Only other thing I'm going to say is that the bass is totally flat. We're going to go both pickups 100%. I mean, blended right in the middle. And this is a boost-only EQ, so I've got the bass turned down, treble. Everything should be totally flat. And first thing I'm going to do is just get a good gain to make sure we're not distorting. So where is this? Already distorting, so let's fix that. Okay. I'm going to turn off this mic. Here we go. That's the cable, by the way, not the amp. You know, I guess I should kind of go through these one at a time to make sure I know what they are. So the post-pre, obviously, I was twisting knobs and nothing was happening. You got to have that one engaged. Otherwise, all it's sending to the front of house is your dry signal, and none of the EQ moves. Those will only be coming out of the cabinet. So I did want to leave that on. All Yeah, everything else should pretty much do what I thought it should do. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so right off the bat, hitting these two switches right here, the bright and the deep switch, does a pretty good job of getting it really close to being in that smiley face territory. It's kind of what you're looking for when you're doing slap basses. You just want, you want the low end to be lifted. You want to scoop out all that muddy mid range, and then you want to skyrocket some sizzle on top. So we're pretty close already just by having those two. Let me play around with the EQ. I'm going to turn these off. And let's see how close we can get by actually dialing in those knobs too. Okay, one thing I need to do is work on my slapping. But you can see right there, man, we are cranking the top end and the low end, squeezing out the low mids, and just kind of leaving the high mid where it is. Very, very good, very usable slap tone. I don't know where the volume was at. Okay, whoops. Oh shit. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, I don't hear myself. Where's my microphone? There's my microphone. Sorry, my headphones are cutting out. It's also how you know this shit's live. Okay, so yeah, the top end is really there, especially when I crank the zing in on the Spector. But yeah, I mean, the 4-band EQ is very usable, very easy to dial in, a decent scoop tone. Let's see if I can't just leave these both on and then use the EQ to just kind of do less work instead of going so drastic with them. I'm going to turn this off again. Think that that's a little lifeless or dead in the top end, but that's perfect for me. I don't like sizzle and a lot of smack. I don't play with a lot of percussion. So, you know, it's a softer sound in general, the Aguilar tone, but I like that's what I want. That's what I'm going for. Let's do this. You know what? Okay. Check this out. On the last video, do I still have it? I do. Okay, so the first thing I did when I played on the Tone Hammer was a song called Try to Sleep. It was like a prog metal, kind of like Toto meets Rush or something like that. I'm going to play the same thing because I have the same instrument. Let's start right there. I don't have an overdrive knob, so I can't make it dirty, but let's just see if I can get a clean rock tone. If you haven't heard the song, this is what it sounds like.
Did I just lay back and try to dream?
Okay, so now I'm going to do that same thing, but this time I'm actually going to play it. That's a decent volume, but I want more smack, and you can see this is giving me more slice, but not sizzle. And I am cutting the high mid. That's just a little too nasally for me for this track. I mean, it's fine. But rather than getting the slice there, I'm going to try to do it here. Check this out. So now all of those notes have that like basketball bouncing on a gymnasium floor kind of quality. So I'm getting rid of the honkiness by dialing out the high mid and getting rid of all that kind of sound. But by leaving the bright switch and boosting the treble and boosting it here, this bass has that tone by default. I think I'm clipping. Let me just double check. Yeah, we're getting close to Crunchy Town, so I'm gonna back it off a little bit. Still a little bit too much. I'm gonna dial it back from the amp. And I'm also gonna play a little softer. Okay, here we go.
And try to dream.
Yeah! Okay, so that was a drastically different sound from what I dialed in with the tone hammer, and I did that on purpose because this lacks an overdrive circuit, and the tone hammer has a really honky mid-range anyways. So I kind of figured let's do the exact opposite with this and go super scoopy, and just, I don't know, see how that fits the track. And I didn't mind it. Very, very nice. All these features are pretty straightforward. 4-band EQ, bright and deep switch. I'm liking, in general, the fullness of it and clean. It's a lot cleaner and kind of bigger sounding, I think, than what the tone hammer was giving me, at least on this sound. So let's try out 3 other songs and see what we can't dial in. How about, oh, I got one. How about fretless? Yeah, let's do some fretless jazz. All right, so let me flatten this out really quick. The next thing we're gonna do, I'm going to continue only listening to the DI. We'll get one track with the DI. We'll check out the cab sim as well, and then I'll put a microphone on the speaker so we can see what it sounds like. But yeah, let's start off with this track right here. If you didn't see the last video, here's how I usually do these. Is I've got some pre-recorded tracks that I've already done. It's gonna sound like this, basically. Oh, shoot. There's nothing playing right now. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so this way, you know, I can be over here dialing in the sound. I know you don't hear anything really yet. This way, I don't have to play the bass and do this at the same time. So for the next songs, we'll see some pre-recorded tracks that I'm just going to reamp into the AG500, and I don't know. Let's just see what we get out of it. I am gonna leave the screen off for now. Let me just dial in a tone. This is a fretless bass. and it's being played 5 times too fast right now. Hold on. Let me fix that. All right, now it's not going to be all super fast. Okay, cool. Let me just move this over here so I can still see the gain. All right. And I promise I'll let you see me play in just a second. That's the first thing I wanted to do. This bass sounds, this is like $1,000, $900 Ibanez fretless. I think it's called the Portamento. Kind of thin sounding, doesn't have a lot of body, a lot of beef to it. It almost sounds like the piezo pickup is the one I was using on this recording. So I really like how, look, all I did is I did one move. I just, boom, cranked the low mids up, and let's see what that did. Come on, play it again. Ooh, nice. Okay, that's really sweet. Hold on, check that out. I've got pretty much the deep switch engaged. We're boosting some of the low mid, cutting out some of the finger strike, and then adding a little bit of sizzle on top, but not much. Yeah, we don't need that knob at all. But that's pretty sweet. That's a nice EQ move. Let me pull in the track. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, now the body disappears. Ooh. Let me hear that intro again. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I really like that. Let me turn the track off. Let me hear that again. And if I turn everything to flat, here's what we started with. Obviously, it's quieter. Right? It almost sounds like an acoustic bass. There's just like there's no body to it. There's no low end. All right, next let's try something a little more old school sounding. I'm gonna pull up a Jack Casady Epiphone signature bass. That's what this one here is that I'm playing. And this is just a really kind of old school, I don't know, Beatlesy song. I'm gonna leave the track off at first, and let's just go for something real McCartney-ish. Let's see what we get.
Clear blue skies, no economy. The sun is free and loves to shine. And every day is a perfect day when you're happy, happy, happy all the time. Carefree mornings watching flowers grow, holding hands and feeling fine. Slowing it down, we're just hanging around like we're happy, happy, happy all the time.
Honestly, very clean, very very persistent. Like on the tone hammer, I really only thought that the first cab sim, I said I like the first and the third, but I was like, the third's too dark. It's nice and full, but it really balances this one really nice. I was even able to, I tried messing with the top end a little bit. Like, no, that doesn't add any sizzle at all. Okay, so we did something Latin jazz. We did something kind of old school, old school rock. What else could I do here? Oh, we should do something with a pick. We should do something really aggressive. Or how about not aggressive, but yeah. Okay, I got one. I got one. Hold up. I'm pulling up the track right now. This one's kind of more of like an indie rock type of thing. Let me play the bass for you first. Let's mute this. Ready? This is a G&L. If you want to see what bass it is. This is a G&L Fallout bass. It's a short scale, single pickup. You know, it's kind of one of those vibes. Yeah, let's get kind of almost like baritone guitar. Let's get real crunchy. Do the opposite of what this thing seems to do well. That's pretty cool. I know it's distorting a little bit. Let me pull it back. That's pretty sweet. Hold on.
1, 2, 3, 4. You can make me feel alive. So electric, one of a kind. Oh, this feeling's so hard to find. One of a kind. La 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 la. Everything touches gold. Such an icon, yeah, they know. Don't be afraid to let it go. When you take the floor, ooh, that's all yours. You and me.
Dang. All right. So, I mean, I didn't think it was going to do that. I was pretty sure I was going to say the only thing I want to do with this is big, scoopy R&B, hip hop, pop music, pop rock, but like leave the rock music to the tone hammer because it's got the overdrive and, you know, this thing doesn't. But it sounds great, especially on that bass. But we were cranking up the high mids and the top end. And yeah, it was flat, or yeah, flat on the bass, bumping the low mids, and then with that deep switch, just gave it enough oomph underneath, but tons of character. Man, that totally changed my mind about what this thing could do. Oh, you know what? Before we move on, okay, so that was the cab sim that's in the back. Let's mic up the cabinet and do the same exact thing. So, hold on. Just a second. Let's plug this in. Hold on. When I'm miking up a cab, I said this in the last video too, but if like the center of the speaker is right here, then where the edge meets the center of the cone, that's a great spot to put the microphone. It's got kind of the nicest balance of low end woof to top end punch and slice. And you just kind of go this way or that, depending on what you need more of. If you need more of a woolly sound, go towards the edge of the cone. You want more punch and more slice, you go more towards the center. And you can get right up on it too. With bass, you don't want to capture room tone. It's just not important. Get right up on the speaker. That's good enough for me. Let me play that same section without the track. And let me get a gain because now the DI is off. And we are definitely only going to be hearing the mic'd up cabinet. So let me replay that. Hold on. Start playing. All right, hold on 1 second. I just got to turn off this mic and double check the gain, but everything looks good. Yeah. Okay, let me do that one more time with the video. All right, let's see this.
So electric, one of a kind. Oh, this feeling's so hard to
Yeah, man, I thought that sounded great, even better than the impulse response. Whoo! You know what? Okay, so I I already said I'm doing three videos. One on the tone hammer, one on the AG, and then one that kind of puts the two together. And I thought I had these pegged. I had thought I had that one as the rock one, and this one as the you know, as the more safe go-to whatever, what's the word I'm looking for? Generic, scooped out, just kind of like, yeah, whatever bass amp. I thought that was going to be the AG500, but this thing rocks, man. So I actually don't know. Whoops, I don't know where I went. Here I am. I don't know what to think anymore. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to spend some more time playing with them. Okay, so final thoughts. Well, first of all, let me say this. I've only spent an hour with it. With the tone hammer, I felt like I could share a little bit more of my opinion. But, with this thing, we literally, you saw me unbox it. I opened it up. I haven't clocked in that much time with it, even though I spent an hour at the tone hammer also. I had a few years with it prior to. So this is a slightly different beast. And what can I say about it? Well, number one, the four band EQ is very, very functional. Um, I found myself for the most part just kind of, uh, leaving the top end and the bottom end kind of. Sorry, I was on the wrong screen. I found myself just kind of leaving those where it was at, and then really using these two to sculpt the tone. You know what I mean? So it was like put the bottom end and the top end where I want the brightness and the body to be, and then define where the bass is going to sit in the track depending on what's happening, just using the high mid and the low mid. And like I said, it was very, very easy to dial in. You just kind of leave those two up, and either I went like that or I went like this. And that's the benefit of four band EQ. You get a lot of versatility, a lot of control, as opposed to a three band EQ. I don't want to say it would be nice to have a sweepable mid, because honestly, when it's four band, I don't really need it. Um, Honestly, I didn't have any trouble dialing in any of the tones for any of these songs, and I was very surprised with how it rocked. I thought that the tone hammer was going to smoke it with the overdrive circuit, but this thing sounded great, especially on that last song with the G&L bass. It was kind of overdriving a little bit, sort of naturally. That bass has a really hot circuit, but I was watching the converters. We weren't clipping at all. I wasn't hitting the red here. So yeah, the amp can go dirty if you push it. Well, it's down now, but I think we were up pretty high. Um, this right here, these two switches, the deep and the bright, that's my favorite part about this. And I believe they brought that over from the DB 750 751 series. That was another Aguilar amp that I had. The big dog with the tube preamp and a lot of power, a lot of headroom. So this one definitely benefited from having the deep switch. The bright I probably wouldn't ever use, but I would leave the deep switch on all day long. Most basses that I play, if it's got, I mean, most bass amps that I play, if it has that switch, some sort of enhance, I think is what GK or SWR called it. Whatever that button is, it just, ultra low is what Ampeg calls it. Deep is what Aguilar calls it. And that would stay on all the time for me. So if I were using this, probably that would be the setting. I would leave the deep on. I would blend the high mid and the low mid, kind of depending on the venue or the style of music, the type of bass that I'm bringing out. And then I would never touch the treble and the bass knob. And I like that a lot, especially the dual XLR. I mean, obviously the tone hammer has this same function, but the second XLR output that had the cab simulators, the impulse responses, super sweet, very useful. Again, I didn't get to tap into the app and access all of the functionality, but I'm sure most of it's there. Is there anything else on the back that I forgot about? I mean, with this one and the tone hammer, the fact that it's got a headphone input and you can plug in your iPod or your phone and play along the tracks, use it as a practice amp. I mean, hell, what what are you missing? I guess a tuner. If it had a tuner, that would send it over the moon. But seriously, I'm really impressed, and I don't know which one I like more, this or the tone hammer. Now, I did say in the beginning that I'm going to be doing a head-to-head video. So if you haven't seen the tone hammer one, there's a link in the description. Go check it out. Or maybe it's popping up right now. I don't know. But definitely I'll be pitting these two against each other, and I'll go, okay, when it's metal, which one wins? When it's rock, which one wins? If it's Motown, which one wins? I'm going to do that video next. If it's not out already, come back later, and we'll have it here in about a week or so. But I gotta say, I'm torn. I don't know which one's gonna win. So come back. We'll see who it is. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.